Welcome to the Dynasty Football Key. Today we're looking at the 2024 quarterback tiers for the NFL and Dynasty. So let's get into it. To start, I'm going to have Josh Allen. This guy has been the #1 quarterback multiple years consecutively. He's got high rushing upside, a lot of touchdowns, has a really good arm, one of the best in the NFL. And he continues to be really good year in and year out. And I think they're going to continue to add some weapons around him. So absolutely see this being another good year for Josh Allen. After that, for Dynasty, of course, I have to have Mahomes here in the S tier. He's won another Super Bowl. This guy is ultimate job security. He's proven he can play the position at the highest level. His fantasy production is not as high as some other guys still left on the list, but you just can't deny that he's going to have a very high floor. I can only see this team just lucking into more receivers, to be honest, over the course of time, because he's been producing without any #1 wide receiver for the past 2 years. Yes, he's had Kelsey, but imagine him getting a receiver in this next class or the next class after that. You know, it just seems like the floor is there, the security is there, and the dynasty trade value is always going to be there. He doesn't put himself in harm's way to get hurt like some of the rushing quarterbacks. So ultimately, I feel really good about Mahomes. But when you're in a win now situation, I definitely understand trying to get some of these other quarterbacks. So like with Jalen Hurts here, he's a quarterback that I definitely think just continues to be a top quarterback. He may have had 2 years in a row as the #2 quarterback. Really good player. Just the arm strength isn't there, or excuse me, he just doesn't have the same passing caliber as a Mahomes. That's really all it is. And I do think Mahomes can rush the ball. So it's just one of those things where Hurts is getting it done fantasy wise. I just feel a lot safer about Mahomes, just period. And going on from there, I'll have I'm gonna put Joe Burrow in the A tier. I'm gonna have Lamar ahead of Burrow here. Lamar produces a lot more fantasy points wise, but the health has been a concern. And here in the S tier, I'm actually going to keep another non-rushing quarterback in CJ Stroud. He had one of the best quarterback rookie seasons of all time. Has shown that he has no fear of passing the ball any and everywhere onto the field. He's got weapons that can go down deep. There's 2 of them that can go deep and get the ball wherever he throws it. This guy's really good, has room to grow, and it's more about the dynasty value and the security. It's not only factoring in production. I do think he can increase his production, but this is a player that's just in a really good spot. I'd rather have him over Burrow. I would, in the one season type of redraft setting, I would go with the Lamar. But for Dynasty, CJ is just getting started. I'll put Justin Herbert in this tier as well. I am a little concerned about the new coach coming in, who's a run-first coach. So that could affect Mr. Herbert here. That's just kind of something we've got to wait and see to fully know the effects of that. Still, he himself is a great quarterback with a lot of upside. And I'm going to put Anthony Richardson here along with Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. A lot of quarterbacks in this tier. I do lean passing QBs more so than a rush quarterback like Anthony Richardson. And Anthony Richardson did not show he was able to stay durable and did get that injury to his shoulder. But he showed he could put up a lot of fantasy points as well. I see Jaden Daniels being able to be a better version of Anthony Richardson. He's just as fast and has an arm. We just need to see if they can stay healthy. I could see Drake May ending up being better than those 2 guys, but the rushing upside is just so high with Richardson and Daniels that's why I've got them there. And so then next, let's get some more guys on the board. So I believe in Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to keep him in this A tier. These are quarterbacks I'd like to have. He's got the age on his side as well. Has really shown that he can do it. except for that rookie season that was really rough for many reasons. I really like what he can do. Next tier, I'm going with Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Justin Fields. These are players with pretty decent floor. I think Fields will end up on a new team. His production may be similar. I don't think his accuracy is necessarily going to increase. He has low passing yardage, but he almost broke Lamar's rushing record, and he could do that any season. This season, I could see it happening. Kyler Murray's got the rushing floor with good passing ability. Purdy has shown that he can be a top 12 quarterback. He's good. So Dak Prescott also was a late round draft pick that showed that he can play, but he's a little bit on the older side. So that's why he's back here, but he can produce. And I'm going to put some other names in here. Curious if Cousins can bounce back. I'll have Will Levis in this category because we don't know if he can string together consecutive. Will Levis, he may get an opportunity to start this year, but if things don't go right, then they may be drafting early next year. So I want to see how this season goes before we raise him into a higher tier. He's got the age on his side. He's got some arm talent. The team just does not have a ton of weapons, and they really need help on both sides of the ball. So we'll see how that team does. And Jared Goff, he's shown that he can play at a high level. He's been producing and has a really good team around him, good coaching. They seem to be continuing to trend up year over year. So it seems like he's about to get a contract extension. Tua, he's got great weapons as well, and he can play. They just have to keep weapons around him, and right now he's in a really good spot. Russell Wilson actually had decent numbers. It's just the team lost faith in him. I'll have these rookies down here. I could see them rising at some point, but for now I'll have to keep some of the veterans ahead of them. Rodgers, he's only got 2 years remaining, coming off of a major injury, so we still need to see if he can recover from that injury, and it really doesn't matter because he'll ultimately not have a lot of time remaining. I think Bryce Young, we'll still keep him ahead of some of those later end rookies. We're going to want to see a lot from him this upcoming season. Hopefully he bounces back in a big way. Just got to see if he can get some weapons. Hopefully they help him out this offseason, and we'll get a much better 2024 in the sophomore season for Bryce Young. A couple more. Baker Mayfield. Let's get him in this last tier here. We don't know the certainty of where he's going to land in this offseason. It seems like he'll re-sign with the Bucs, but he has proven that he can produce. He was in some championship lineups, so he's able to put up points. We'll see if all those weapons return. Stafford, just due to the age, we'll have here on the back end. He and Rodgers have had similar numbers. Just with him being healthy, I'll keep him in there. And Carr, he'll be in this tier as well. So thank you all for watching the Dynasty Football Key, and I hope to see you in the next video.